When the sun is high above us, or the moon is full aglow, what better than to sit by the river and watch it flow?
For now is the time to write words on sand and drink in the wisdom of far ancient lands. For the heavens soar above us, while the earth is still below. What better place than to sit by the river and watch it flow?
Once there was a girl who was made of salt. Every day she would walk across mountain, field, and desert, trying to understand where she came from. One day, she came to a place where she could walk no more, and all she saw before her was blue. She looked down at this large, moving mass, and she asked, "Who are you?" The ocean replied back, "Come in and see." And so the girl went down, and she put in one foot and then the other into the warm waves. And as she looked down, she could see that her feet had dissolved into the sea. She continued to wade in, and as she waded in, more and more of her dissolved, until finally there was only a very little bit left. And then she cried out in wonder, "Now I know who I am." And she washed into the sea.
Hi, my name is Sridhar, and today I'm going to share a story of my girls joining school. I have two daughters, and we were living in one part of Bangalore, Alsur, and my job was moving me across town, so I got into Malleshwaram. And if you have girls and if you're in Malleshwaram, the rule is you have to go to Cluny Convent. That's it. No debates, nothing. You just have to go to Cluny Convent. So, and Cluny has a rule saying that if you're within 1 kilometer of the school, we'll give you admission if it's a girl, obviously. So I found a house 1 kilometer because I believe in rules, you see. So we went through this application process, stood in the line, proud parent, collected the application, filled it in, and gave actually my lease, because we had not moved in there yet, as proof that I'm committed to Cluny Convent. And then they called us for an interview. So my elder daughter, my wife, and myself, we went. And my elder daughter has been going through Montessori education. And I have no idea. I'm just pretty much clueless in each of these things. So Montessori, child is learning and Papa is proud. That's about it. So I went into the school interview, and they showed a picture of a fan. And the child said, "Fan." And then they asked us to start spelling it out. I was like, "Yeah, you're going to crack it." She said, "F-A-N." I was like, what happened to my daughter? I believe in the Montessori system. They teach phonetics, and I didn't know this. So the school teacher and my wife kind of calmed me down, saying, "Your daughter is fine. She actually gets a few things." And then I was back to being proud papa. Now junior comes along. The thing is, seniors in the school already. 2 years later, junior interview, and I was like, "Yeah, man, we are through." So we prepared for the interview. Senior and was coming along. I said, "Come in your school uniform," so that they know that we are in. So she came along in the school uniform, and we went for the interview. Now, fan and all this, like we are hitting it out of the park. Then came the questions. "What is your mama's name?" Child did not even hesitate. "Anu." 100 marks. Lock kiya jaye. Now, next question. "What is your papa's name?" Without hesitation, she said, "Sanjana." All of us like, pin drop silence. What? What is this? Who's Sanjana now? I looked at Anu and said, "Who's this Sanjana?" Um, Nothing dramatic, of course. Sanjana in Papa in Tamil means baby. So she thought that the teacher was asking about her baby's name and said, without hesitation, Sanjana. And we had to explain this. The moral of the story is you never really know what the kids are going to teach us every day. And we really have to enjoy the present, enjoy the surprises that life throws at us, and kind of be happy about it. This is the time to celebrate. Be safe, and we'll catch you around soon. Thank you.
Hi. Today I will be retelling a story that I read in a book called Things That Join the Sea and the Sky by Mark Nepo. So once upon a time, a train came hurling into the station. The driver and the engineer had lost control over its brake, and it was a terrible accident. The passengers went flying over each other. There was blood everywhere, broken glass, and screams of agony. Just at that point, a woman had shown up at the railway station, and no sooner had she arrived on the platform, the ceiling above gave way, and it crashed upon her. She found herself buried under the rubble. She was alive and breathing and thinking to herself, this breath may not last very long, for no one would be able to find her under this rubble. She was surprised when a bunch of hands lifted her. These were the hands of the passengers who had been on the platform. And each of the hands, the pair of hands, passed her over, passed her over, passed her over, until at last she was able to come out of all that rubble and chaos. Days went by, and she mended herself, but she could not forget all those hands, all those people who had saved her despite their own lives being in such trouble. And so she went out of her way to find out who those passengers were that could have been that day on that platform. After many negotiations with the authorities of the railway station, she finally found a list of names and addresses from where these passengers might have come to the railway platform. And she decided to go to each one of their homes to thank them personally. And to every home she went, she would ask if they had been one of the people who had helped her out of that rubble. And each of them would smile and say, no, it was not them. But as the woman got talking to them, she would always realize that there was something that they needed and she could help them out with. And so she would help them out in different ways. For example, she would sometimes unbox all the groceries that an elderly person would have just bought that day. Or she would have walked into a widower grieving and she would end up having tea with them and listening to their stories. She even once gave her own umbrella to a single mom that she was carrying on her that day. And so this went on for many days and many months, until one day she realized something. She realized that this was God's symmetry of kindness. That while she could not find out about the ones who had helped her, she was finding the ones that she could help. And so, from that day onwards, that's what she did. Whoever she met, she would find a way to help them out, knowing that she was paying forward what she had received as a gift and a blessing.
Hello. My story today isn't a story so much as a collection of impressions, like those cups of teas that I brewed and kept forgetting to drink. I was thinking about this while I was standing on the rooftop of my house looking at the moon. It was 2 a.m, a couple of nights ago. And I realized I had been at home for 15 days. I had not gone out. I was looking at the moon and thinking of all the times that I had taken the moon for granted. I was thinking of the time when I was in Italy with my parents. I was in Florence. We were standing at the main square, taken in by the beauty and the warmth of the city and of everyone we met. In a travel guide, which we'd borrowed from the hotel, someone had left a post-it giving us a recommendation for a gelato shop. We took this recommendation from a total stranger, just paying forward the things that he had learnt, I suppose, and went to this lovely little tucked away shop. There was an old man running the shop. Smiled at me the first day I came to buy gelato there. Gave me a big grin on the second, and when I went back for the third time, told me not to worry about paying. I think about him. Think about those nights walking down the cobblestone streets of Florence. I wonder if he's doing okay. I don't even know his name. I think about being out at night. And I was in New York. In a street in Brooklyn, stranded in the middle of the desert, daytime drinking with some of my best friends from college. I think about where I was in my life, a period of deep personal uncertainty. I was wondering what I should do about my career, what choices I should make, getting high on cheap tequila. And then at 11:30, after the snow had stopped falling, my friend turned to me and said, "You know what we need? We need to eat a bowl of cereal." And so we went stomping out in the cold, looking at the moon, buying cereal. I was delighted at the idea that you could have cereal at midnight, something that had never occurred to my planning type A brain. I text him once in a while. The fear of what I might find sometimes makes me feel like not texting anybody at all. And then I think of all my everyday sightings of the moon. All those nights after all those shows, dissecting every moment of what happened on stage. All those nights of going on long walks after dinner, drunk on life and on love and the companionship of friends. I think about nights, staying up on the phone, talking till the sun comes up. I think about my co-workers, my performance friends, everybody I care and love about, all the people who were just background to my stories. The man at the local Darshini, who knows when I walk in that I will want an idli vade. The librarian at the library that I've been going to since I was 14. I think about all these people. And the fear and uncertainty sometimes can be overwhelming. Just feels like someone's wrapping their fingers around my heart and giving it a squeeze. In those moments, all I can do is pray, hope that the universe is looking after them. I'm reminded of an entry I found in the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, a beautiful online repository of words for feelings you felt and thought you were the only person who felt. I found the word sonder in the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. Sonder is a sudden and vivid realization that every passerby you meet has a life as complex as your own. And what gives me comfort these days is the idea that perhaps I too am featuring in someone's prayers somewhere. People I can't even anticipate. People who've seen me once and had a smile for me, perhaps. Just like I think of the people that I love or that I've just met, and keep them in my prayers.